Good morning, everyone. Boker Tov to everyone over here in Rechavia, Nachlaot, in Yerushalayim, and abroad. Thank you very much to Mordechai and Raya for hosting this class. Beginning of the week, yesterday Rabbi Diamond gave this shiur as every Sunday, and now we're starting our daily shiur. Today's a very special day. Well, every day is a very special day. Okay, so every day is a special day, and the question is, what is special about today's day? And so, yesterday was Rosh Chodesh, the first day of the first month, Nisan, and today is the second day of Nisan. So there is something very special about the beginning of Nisan. When we inaugurated the Mishkan, the tabernacles, for the first time, we offered, the way we inaugurated the Mizbeach, the altar, was through the fact that that each day another tribe brought the offerings and brought the korbanot. So therefore, today, every day, starting from yesterday, for the next until the 12th of Nisan, and there's also something to say on the 13th of Nisan. But what we do is we recite the verses of the Nesiim, of the princes of each tribe. So each individual tribe brought their korban, and that was a special way of inaugurating the Mizbeach and the essentially for the Beit HaMikdash. Okay, so I just want to tell you where the verses are in the regular Sidurim. In the regular Siddur, in the All Hebrew Siddur, it starts on page 355, and today is the second day of Nisan. It begins on page 356. In the English Siddur, the Chabad English Siddur, Tilat Hashem, the month of Nisan, the recitation of these special verses begins on page 391. And for today, in page 392, Bayom HaSheni, the second day. So I'd like to talk about this concept of the Nesiim, of the princes, specifically in relation to today. And maybe tomorrow we'll talk about the Nesiim more of on a general note. Another special reason why today is a special date is in the Chabad calendar. It is the yahrzeit of the 5th Chabad Rebbe, Rabbi Shalom Dovber of Chabad. And so any yahrzeit is a special day, especially the yahrzeit of a tzaddik, especially the yahrzeit of a Rebbe. That is definitely a very special day, as we're going to talk about soon, and the connection hopefully to the second day of Nisan. So let's start from the subject of the princes. So we just said that the basic reason why we recite the Nesiim, the princes of every shevet, of every tribe, on that specific day, is because that was the day that they offered their offering in order to inaugurate the Mizbeach, the altar, and the Mishkan and the tabernacle. Interestingly enough, after we recite some 7 or 8 verses, there's another paragraph which is a very special paragraph, and we talk about in this Yehi Ratzon, in this prayer, that if we are from this tribe, and today almost no one knows which tribe we're from, but we say if we're from this tribe, then we should have all of the great blessings from above in honor of saying this paragraph. So it says in Chasidut that even someone who is from a different tribe, or we don't know which tribe we're from, it's still not a prayer in vain. Because everybody, this is a soulful issue, a concept of the soul. Every person, our neshama, is a blend of different concepts, also different tribes. So for example, the Alter Rebbe says in the Tanya, that every neshama, every original new neshama, so to speak, can be divided into 5 levels: nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya, and yechida. then each one of these can be divided into the 4 worlds. And many, many more times the neshama can be divided up. And so a spark that comes into you and I can be a spark for, we don't know which source the spark comes from, but hopefully the spark is from a tzaddik's neshama. And it's very possible that it's included of the different levels of the sfirot. So just like we know that soon we're going to count in the Sfirat Omer, the counting of the Omer, we're going to say Chesed Shebechesed or Gvura Shebechesed, that each one of the midot of the attributes are essentially intertwined from all other. So too in the levels of the neshama, we're all included of everyone. So it's one big happy family. And therefore we try to receive the blessings not from either or of one of the tribes, but from all of them. Why not? If we can get extra blessings, that's always an extra bracha. And so, what is the idea in practical terms of reciting the Nasiim? What exactly happened? What is the concept of a Nasi? So, as we're preparing sort of for the 4th election within 2 years over here in Israel, perhaps the idea of leadership has become a little bit not so special, to say the least. So it's really important to emphasize what true leadership is when it comes to Torah. A little plug for our weekly video of 2.5 to 3 minutes. So this week's video, the title is going to be who to vote for. So you'll have to wait till Thursday, I guess, or Wednesday to find out. But it's next week, so you'll have plenty of time to digest this concept. And I'm sure you'll send it around to all of your friends, as you always do, on WhatsApp and social media. Back to our subject. Nisi'im, the princes. Every shevet, every tribe had a prince, had a leader. Now, if you remember, Yitro, the father-in-law, being the shver, being a father-in-law, and always, mixing in to business which he should not be. I'm just kidding around, of course. So he suggests, he comes to Moshe. He has to have a suggestion. What's the suggestion? He suggests, I think you're overworking. You need to delegate. You need to have different smaller groups of 1,000, 100, 50, and 10. And depending on the different level of leader, he'll be able to deal with them on a more intimate level with his people. And of course, the bigger questions can come to you. So this way, you'll be able to delegate and to I think the word is alleviate from your tremendous overburden. And so, according to Kabbalah, according to Chasidut, it's not just a figurehead. We need to delegate. So you take someone you take someone, doesn't make a difference who, cut and paste, and you put them in the right group. No. It's a soulful subject. It's a soulful concept that we take someone who can be a leader, someone who has within himself the qualities of being able to relate to people, and that person, we place them as being a leader. So someone who can handle, so to speak, or deal with only 10 people, okay, he'll be Sarei Asarot, the leaders of the groups of 10, each one. There's someone that can be a leader for 50 or 100 or 1,000, each one according to their own level. So too, when it comes to leaders of each tribe, every tribe needs to have a leader. And this leader is someone who is a nasi, is a prince. Bashkacha Pratit, this is connected to today. Because today is the yard site of a leader, of the Rebbe of Chabad, of the 5th Chabad Rebbe. And so this gives us a few minutes, a few moments to be able to expand upon this concept of what it means to be a leader. When the Rebbe Rashab, his final moments before he passed away, he said a statement. I'd like to say it first in Yiddish, because I love Yiddish. Yiddish is such a rich language. And then I'll translate it. The Rebbe Rashab said as follows: Ich gehe in Himmel, und mein Ksavim lo sich eich. He said, I am going in the heavens. In other words, his neshama was going to pass away. And he said he's going to leave us his writings. Now, it sounds like, at first glance, like a very standard statement, perhaps even a little bit emotional, but it doesn't necessarily have to come from, it doesn't have to be so special as if it's coming from a Rebbe. What is the uniqueness of this statement coming from him? And the explanation is as follows. We have a rule that the first word of the Aseret HaDibrot, of the Ten Commandments, is Anochi. Anochi Hashem Elokecha. Hashem says, I am Hashem your God. Anochi has 4 Hebrew letters. Aleph, Nun, Chaf, Yud. This is an abbreviation for 4 Aramaic words. Ana, Nafshi, Kitavit, Yahavit. I myself wrote it and gave it. That's what Hashem says. It's alluded in the first word of the Aseret HaDibrot that Hashem gave it. And no one can, God forbid, come along and say that the 10 Commandments of the Torah are man-made. It's right there in the first word. But there's a deeper meaning into the word, into these 4 Aramaic words. Ana nafshi ktavit yavit. What is the deeper meaning according to the Kabbalah? Ana, I, Hashem says, nafshi ktavit yavit. I put my soul into the Torah. What is Hashem telling us? When you learn my Torah, you are connecting to me. You're not just reading a document or lahavdil, God forbid, an essay or a newspaper or whatever it is, and whoever wrote it, you have no connection to the person. It's just an essay. You can read an essay from someone from 10 minutes ago or from 500 years ago. Hashem says, no. When you learn my Torah, you are learning my nefesh. You are internalizing my essence. That is one of the greatest accomplishments of limud Torah, of learning Torah. And just like it is by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it says, and our sages teach us, tzadikim domim liboram. Our tzadikim, our righteous, are similar to their creator. So too by a tzadik, when a tzadik writes a chidush Torah, an innovation in Torah, or a maimer chasidus, a Hasidic discourse, he's putting himself into his Torah. And so when we learn his Torah, even after his passing, he's alive. It's almost like saying we're learning with a chavruta, a pair, learning with someone, learning with the Rebbe himself. It's almost like saying that. And so that's what the Rebbe Rashab meant. This is not my explanation. This is the Rebbe's explanation, of course. That when the Rebbe Rashab said that he was going above, but he's leaving us his Torah, what is he essentially saying? I put myself into my Torah. Keep on learning my Torah, because when you learn my Torah, you're connecting with me. That's what the Rebbe Rashab said. And that's why it is important to emphasize this when it comes to this day of Beit Nisan. When we talk about the Nasiim, we talk about leaders. What is a classical example of a leader? A Rebbe, a Nasi, a prince. That is our example of what a leader is meant to be. And a leader connects with his people, not only during his lifetime, but also after his passing. And moreover, his main theme is Torah, and he puts himself into Torah. Very often, when I give out when I give out books as gifts, I try to give people different books that have been written from the Rebbe's insights, And it's so amazing to be able to take into heart, to see how they're relevant for today. Not just for a few years ago, but for today. And that's why it's so important to be able to connect to a tzaddik, to a nasi, to a prince, through the learning of the Torah. I just want to finish off with one more anecdote, that this concept of learning Torah is especially connected to today's nasi. Which shevet, which tribe do we read about today? I'm not sure if you read it already after davening, or if not, you can learn it right after the class. Bayom Hasheni, Hikriv Netanel ben Tzohar Nasi Yisachar, the prince of the tribe Yisachar. Now there were other tribes that perhaps should have gone before him, either because they came in line of Reuven, Shimon, or for other reasons. Everyone has their own advantage. Yehuda was like the king. That's understandable why Yehuda was number one. Yehuda was the first one. So yesterday, by Yom HaRishon, the first day, we read about the tribe of Yehuda. That's understood. Malchut, kingship, it makes sense he should be number one. Yisachar, he really wanted to be number one. So why is today's day of the Nesiim, of the princes, associated with Yisachar? So Rashi tells us, when you look at the Rashi, where this Torah reading comes from, Parashat Naso, which, by the way, also comes from the word Nesiim, which is a prince, a leader. So Rashi explains, brings some quotes from the Medrash. Rashi explains that one of the reasons why Yisachar was chosen to be one of the first ones was because Umebnei Yisachar Yodei Bina. From the children of Yisachar, they were considered the Torah scholars all along our history. They were the ones that made Torah their occupation. In Torah, in Halacha, it's called Torato Umanuto. That is, Torah is occupation. That's a great zechut. Can you imagine someone that's able to learn Torah all day, whether it's in a kollel, or in a yeshiva, or teaching children Torah, or teaching a rabbi teaching in yeshiva all day? Wow, that is such a great zechut. It is such a great merit. Halavai, we wish that we would be able to sit and learn Torah and teach Torah all day. And so because they were the ones who learned Torah, therefore they deserve to be so early in the lineup of the tribes. Zevulun, tomorrow we'll read Zevulun, because they were the partners with Yisachar. That's also a great zechut. Maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow. But one thing is clear, that learning Torah is so important because we're learning Hashem's wisdom. As we said earlier, Ana nafshi ktavit yahavit. Hashem tells us He put His essence, His quote-unquote soul, into the Torah. And so therefore, it deserves to be right at the beginning, as early as possible, in the lineup of tribes who were appointed to bring the korban, the offering, to inaugurate the Mizbeach and the Mishkan and Tabernacles. So Bezrat Hashem, we will continue to learn tomorrow. I'm so happy that we're able to learn today for Beit Nisan. Bezrat Hashem, we should be able to have the great zechut of learning Torah more often. Tomorrow evening, we're going to have a special learning. It's actually going to be at 7 o'clock, not at 7:30. It's going to be in honor of a special share in honor of my birthday, Farbrengen. And also, we're going to celebrate 1 year of us learning together right here every day, almost every single day, which is an unbelievable accomplishment. And I'm so humbled by this great opportunity to be like the tribe of Yisachar, to learn Torah every day. Hopefully you'll be reviewing the Shiurim. Hopefully you'll be learning more Shiurim online and learning in person. Bezrat Hashem. Soon we're going to be opening up Chabad to be able to learn classes inside according to the green plan, because we want to have as many shiurim, as much Torah learning as possible. In person is always the best, and we look forward to continuing online. We're not going to take this with bli neder. We're going to continue with these shiurim. Even those that are going to be in person will also be broadcast live, Bezrat Hashem. So thank you very, very much for joining us. Bezrat Hashem, tomorrow morning, and of course tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. We'll send you a reminder soon. All the best. Shalom, shalom, and Chodesh Tov.